live. I'm gonna wait for some people. I actually got some snacks in my pocket. Let me take these out. I'm gonna wait for some people to come to the live, and then we can start talking about things and all that other good stuff. So I'm gonna wait for some people to come into the live. If you guys follow me on TikTok, if you follow me on TikTok, TikTok has not been pushing me out. I have no idea what's going on with TikTok. By the way, if you follow me on TikTok, you know I always have to tilt my camera up. The camera will be up like this, so you can see the words on my TikTok live. But yeah. So come into the live, ask questions, and all that good stuff. I see somebody just came in. When you guys come in, I need you guys to speak. Just say hi, hello, something, ask a question, whatever the case may be. So come on in, come on in, come on in, and all that good stuff. So I think the topic for today, I think it was, where can I see the debate you had with the bald dude? Uh, you can see it on King Buddha. Also, what's up, King Buddha? You can see it on Deconstruction Zone's YouTube channel. So go on the YouTube search bar and type in Deconstruction Zone, and you should be able to see it. It should be in his live panel, his live section. So it'll say live, and you'll be able to see the previous lives he hosted, and you should be able to see the debate between Jeff and myself. So that is where you can see the debate. I won. I actually think I won the debate. The issue is we didn't have it on a neutral platform. It was just all atheist flipperheads. And, Jeff and his 200 whatever followers, the guy who I wanted to have the debate on his channel, the guy whose channel I wanted to have the debate on, he couldn't do it. He couldn't host the debate for whatever reason, and so the debate was hosted on a non-neutral platform. He said, "Funny thing, I came in the room, tapped the screen. That doesn't work here. Nah, that doesn't work. Not on YouTube." That's hilarious. Yeah, so I am migrating primarily over to YouTube. I am just probably going to do YouTube videos instead of doing TikTok videos, because TikTok is not pushing me out at all to any audience at all. So, but anyway, to get to the topic, so is the Bible 100% true? No, the Bible is not 100% true. Why would it be 100% true? No book is 100% true for the most part. No book is 100% true, especially a book from 3,000 years ago, especially a book from the ancient Near East, especially a book that has ancient Near Eastern cosmology and ancient Near Eastern cosmogony and ancient Near Eastern theology, is not 100% true. We would like to believe that the Bible is 100% true because of whatever we've been taught or told from the time we were like 5, 6 years old. And so, most people think the Bible is 100% true, and everybody's been saying this word now, so I'm going to say it too. The Bible is univocal, meaning the Bible speaks with one voice, that the people who wrote the New Testament, they believed the same thing that the people who wrote the Old Testament believed. And that is not the case. That is not true. The data doesn't show that. The evidence doesn't support that. And that is a very easy way to lose any debate with anybody. When you assume that the people who wrote the New Testament believed the same exact thing as the people who wrote the Old Testament, the people who wrote the Old Testament actually did not believe in a Messiah. There was no need for a Messiah figure. The concept of the Messiah doesn't come about until the Babylonian captivity. And so if the Apostle Paul went back in time and spoke with Abraham or King David, they wouldn't have known what a Messiah was because they didn't need a Messiah. You don't get the word Messiah in the Hebrew Bible until King Cyrus, if I'm correct, King Cyrus. And that is the first time, if memory serves me right, that the word Mashiach is actually used in the text. So you don't even get the concept of Messiah until King Cyrus releases the Israelites from Babylonian captivity and allows them to go back into the land of Israel. So I get it. I get how we have these theological concepts that were programmed into us from the time we were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. But we really have to work on having a more well thought out theology, having more well thought out scholarship, and more well thought out arguments so that when we go before non believers and atheists and agnostics, we can know our stuff. So we should really know our stuff when we talk to these people. I had made a video about this yesterday. I was in an atheist live. I was in an atheist TikTok live last night, or technically this morning, and the prompt on the screen was, and when you guys come into the live, say hi, say something. It'll help push this up so more people can come to the live. But when I went into the TikTok live, the prompt was something of the fact of, why is God a failure? Why is God a failure is what the prompt said. So I go on stage and I'm all ready to discuss the topic. And so the host poses the question to me, hey, Theologos, you guys know my TikTok name, hey, Theologos, why do you think God is a failure? And my answer was an answer that they were not expecting. I said, well, the God of the Bible is a failure because the author of the text made him a failure. And that answer alone, it just shifted the entire conversation. And you could feel, you could feel the atmosphere of the room shift. Because a lot of times when atheists and agnostics pose these arguments about God, the Christian gets upset because we believe that God is, not a failure and God is amazing and God is great. But I think how people should look at it as is, when people are making arguments against God in the biblical text, they are not arguing against God in actuality. People are arguing against a perspective of God, or people are arguing against the God in the text. So when people make an argument against God in the Hebrew Bible, they're not arguing against how God actually is in reality. They are arguing against God in the literature. They are arguing against the God that the author of the story is writing about. They are writing about God, the character. They are writing about God, the literary creation. They are talking about the God in the text. And the God in the text can be whatever the author wants him to be. People can talk as bad about the God in the text as much as they want to, because the God that is inside of the Bible is not the 100% true representation of how God actually is in reality. So we as Christians, we should really learn to differentiate the God that is inside of the text and the God that actually exists in reality. Remember, God doesn't exist inside of a book. God doesn't exist inside of a book. God doesn't exist in the Bible. God exists outside of the Bible. God is a reality that is outside of a book. So when people start arguing against the God in the book, that's okay. Let them. Let them actually play into that. Oh, the God of the Bible is a failure. You're absolutely right. Why is the God of the Bible a failure? Because that is how the author of the text made him to be. Somebody said, so then the next question the person asked me was, they said, oh, so you don't believe in the Bible? And I said, no. They're like, you don't believe the Bible? I said, no. So they said, oh, but you believe in God? I'm like, yeah, I believe in God. They're like, are you a Christian? I'm like, yep, I'm a Christian. And so then they were like, well, if you're a Christian, how are you a Christian without believing in the Bible? And I said, well, the prompt says God is a failure. So like we can talk about the text or we can talk about my personal beliefs, but me as a Bible scholar, I would like to talk about the text. And they said, well, we pretty much agree on everything. So, and I'm like, yeah, so where do we go from here? They're like, well, I guess I'm gonna just drop you. And yeah, we pretty much agree on everything. And they dropped me. And that was the end of the conversation. I basically took the bullets out of their gun. I took all the fun out of it because I agreed on everything. I agreed on all their positions, but at the same time, I wasn't in agreement that God in reality is a failure. I don't believe God in reality is a failure, but if you want to take the position that the God of the Bible is a failure, sure, why not? The God that's inside of the literary text is not a proper equivalency to God in reality. Sure, why not? Sure. So when you make your arguments like that, and when you accept all of the scholarship, when you accept all of the textual criticism, how do you know God's word versus the writer's word? You don't know. There's no way to know. But when you take on textual criticism, literary criticism, scholarship, academia, when you take on the academic positions, and then you sit down and have these conversations with atheists, agnostics, non-believers, you take the bullet out of their guns, and they're just like, where'd I go from here? I thought you were going to be a Christian fundy flipperhead, and it's like, well, I'm not a Christian fundy flipperhead. Like I actually know stuff, and I know Moses didn't write the Old Testament. I know the Old Testament was written by what, four different source texts. I know X, Y, and Z. I know the New Testament wasn't written by the disciples. I understand this. Like, so when you just agree and you understand and you know, it's not really much people can go with. So you're disarming them. You're disarming them and taking the bullets out of their gun. But at the same time, if you do want to do Christian apologetics, which I'm not an apologist in any way, but that would be a better way for Christian apologists to do apologetics. Because usually when Christian apologists do apologetics, all they do is deny, 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 deny. No, the scholarship is wrong. No, the scholars are lying. No, the scholarship right here isn't correct. So usually Christian apologetics, it really just turns into a lot of times anti-intellectualism and anti-academia and anti-scholarship. Just about every Christian apologist I know, in one way or another, they always, to a certain degree, disagree with academic consensus in one way or another on something, whether it is about the dating of the Gospels or whether it is about the dating of the books of the Old Testament or the dating of the book of Genesis or different hypotheses on the how the Old Testament was put together. In one way or another, Christian apologists always disagree with consensus sooner or later. And that hurts what they're trying to do. That actually hurts what they're trying to do because the people who are familiar with the literature and who are familiar with the academic scholarship, now they're looking at the Christian apologists and they're like, well, I know this is pseudo scholarship. And so if you're presenting pseudo scholarship about the Old Testament or the New Testament, how do I know that this whole thing about the resurrection of Jesus isn't pseudo scholarship as well? If you are presenting pseudo scholarship to me about who wrote the Bible when we in academia know that the Bible wasn't written by Moses, the Bible wasn't written by Joshua, wasn't written blah blah blah, then what is stopping me from believing that you're also spouting me pseudo scholarship when it comes to this whole resurrection narrative? And there isn't anything stopping somebody from believing that if your introduction to people is, you know, anti-intellectualism, anti-pseudo, anti-scholarship. But it's six people in here. Y'all, stop being weird and comment something. Y'all just sitting here staring at me. Somebody comment saying, ask me some questions. I see it's 6 of y'all in the chat. Stop being weird. When you guys comment, by the way, it'll probably make more people come into the live, and it'll probably push us up. But yeah, I'm gonna be on YouTube more and answering questions and doing stuff like this, because TikTok is not pushing me out. If you want to know, or if you want to learn more about this stuff, go to the link in my YouTube channel. So go to my YouTube channel profile, and go to the link in my YouTube channel at the top of the screen and get my books, Secrets of the Bible from the East. I talk about a lot of this stuff in the books. I talk about how to properly interpret the Bible. I talk about how to properly understand the Adam and Eve account from the cultural context. I talk about the Cain and Abel story. I talk about the Noah's Ark story. So those books in my bio, they will take you a long way as far as how to understand literary criticism, textual criticism, and understanding the cultural context of the Old Testament. Do predators believe in evil? I'm new to the concept of predators. Predators believe in evil. Um, every predator doesn't believe the same thing, but for most predators, as far as I know, uh, predators believe that sin was destroyed in 70 AD when the Jewish temple was destroyed, because the concept of sin is tied to the Jewish temple priesthood system. And so, if the priesthood system is destroyed, then the concept of sin is destroyed. So, sin and death was destroyed at the fall of the temple in 70 AD, according to the preterist doctrine. So, hopefully, that helps you out. So, with that being said, I think I'm gonna hop off here. Maybe I'll be back on here later on tonight. But this was a nice little live, about 16 minutes, almost 20 minutes of me just talking to you guys, just explaining some stuff. But yeah, my TikTok is completely shadow banned. All of my accounts, like all of my TikTok accounts, they're not getting pushed out. So I don't know. So I'm gonna just be on YouTube, just pumping stuff out on YouTube, trying to get stuff out to you guys this way, and hopefully people can watch this stuff later. What do you believe about the afterlife? I don't really have any big beliefs about the afterlife. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the afterlife is like. I do believe that life goes on after we pass, but what is it like? I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows until we get there. So I think that is the most honest answer. Nobody knows until they get there. So with that being the case, I think I'm off here, y'all. If you want to support me, go get my books in my bio. It'll really help me go a long way. And it'll help yourselves as well if you want to learn more about your Bible and stuff like that. You can even get, so there's an option to get 3 of my books along with a copy of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And you can get that by going to the link in my bio as well. But I'm off here. I've been in here for 16, 17 minutes. It's been real. Hopefully, people will watch this later. And you guys have a good rest of your Sunday. Yeah, 'cause it's Sunday. Talk to you guys.